Hi, welcome back to Second Chance Shed. This is John, and this video is going to be about a couple of old railway spikes. I went out on a little family trip not long ago up to the Atherton Tablelands, and there was an abandoned railway station, and I saw these railway spikes and I thought that'd be nice as a little souvenir because it was an abandoned railway station and an abandoned line as well, so the line wasn't being used, so there was no issue with taking them, I suppose. I guess I just took these because they're kind of nice souvenirs of the world of yesterday, where we sort of relied more on railways to service the community. And also I have an interest as well in railway spikes and railway paraphernalia. So you can see that these old railway spikes, they're heavily rusted, really rusted. The railway station that I took them from, it's probably been there, I think, for at least about 130 years. So I don't know whether these railway spikes are around 130 years old, but they might be. But what we can say is that they're very rusty. Big, thick layers of iron oxide. Now, some of you might think, why would you even bother trying to sort of restore these or fix these up? And I kind of agree with that as well. They're sort of nice as they are, but I thought I'd do this video just really as just a demonstration on a technique that I use to remove rust. So a lot of people have their own techniques. You can use an abrasive wire wheel to take off rust. You can use an angle grinder. People have different chemicals they like to use. I have been doing this for a little while now, using different chemicals. One was sulfamic acid. That's fairly popular amongst the trades because it won't really do any damage to a lot of different materials, and it does a good job of removing rust. The only issue with sulfamic acid is that it's pretty expensive. I'll show you just a bottle where you would find sulfamic acid. Okay, so this is, I suppose, a Bunnings brand, an Australian brand of CLR, so you can see calcium, scale and rust, and the active ingredient is sulfamic acid. I don't know whether you can read that at all, but I found sulfamic acid to be pretty good at removing rust, and not just rust, a lot of sort of stuff that might be on something that you really want to clean, but it is reasonably expensive to use. You can dilute it, but still is more expensive than other products. So what I've been using is this. This is from the local supermarket down at Coles, double strength white vinegar. Now it's a different type of acid, it's acetic acid, but it's fairly effective at removing rust off most metal surfaces. So that's what I'm going to use today. I will have a go at doing this just pure strength. Usually I would dilute this, but I'm going to put it straight in because it is pretty cheap. I think it's about $3 for 2 litres, which is pretty good value for money. So simply, all I'm going to do is just take the railway spikes and put them in this container. You try to get a container that you won't end up using too much of the acid. You don't want to waste the acid. So this fits quite nicely. I'm just going to pour this in, and you want to make sure that the chemical that you're pouring in this case acetic acid, it covers the entire object that you're trying to remove the rust from. So I'm just going to put enough in there just so it's just covering. There we go. And after some time you'll see some bubbles forming. Just gonna, yep, that's fine to leave. And I'll come back to this later and we'll see what progress that we've made. Right, so the railway spikes have been in the vinegar solution overnight, and you can see some bubbles have formed. The water has changed to like a rusty colour. I'm going to leave them in there a bit longer yet because we want to see how much rust we can take off before we sort of give them a bit of a brush up. So this is after 2 nights of being in the acid bath solution, the acetic acid. You can see the colour has really changed now, and it's difficult to even see the railway spikes in there. There's some foam on the top. Okay, so because we can't see it, I've just got another container, and what I might do is just pull them out, see what they look like. Wow, wow, look at that. That's actually pretty cool. A lot of that iron oxide has come off into solution. Let's get the extra one. Yeah, you can see the bare steel, the bare metal there. That's really neat. That's pretty cool. So if I give them a little bit of a clean up, the wire wheel, I'll just move this out the way. They'll come up quite nice, but you can definitely see the bare metal there. They just need a bit of a clean up. And what I typically do is just give them a little bath in water first, and I can give them a scrub with a toothbrush before I put them onto the wire wheel. So I'm just going to pour some water, just tap water into here, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the acid. I'm just going to cover it completely, because what I might do while I'm at work, I might let this soak in just a little bit more acid. So I'm just going to put just a little bit more vinegar in here. It's going to be very dilute solution, and we'll just give these guys just a little scrub with this wire brush. So I'm just making a bit of a mess, so I'm going to just put this entire thing into this other container. I guess you live and learn. Alright, that's probably a little easier to manage. So I just gave these just a quick wire wheel, and you can see they've come up quite nice. You could just stop there, really. Like, it's got a nice patina, really just from the rust, but you can see that it's aged over a long time. These railway spikes were probably made locally over 100 years ago, so it is nice to sort of see the age in them. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to keep going and sort of polish them up a bit more. It's nice when you have the light reflect off the top of it at the right angle. You can see where they've hit it with the hammer a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 times. hammer. There's a glancing blow there. You can see a couple of hits there. But I might clean them up maybe a little bit more, and we'll see how they turn out. So just gave them another quick run on a smaller wire wheel, and they're already getting a high luster already, and they're looking quite nice. And I like this dimpled look on the metal. I think that's probably fairly reflective of how they looked when they were first made. They would have been probably making these pretty quickly on a high production line, so the original look wouldn't have been that smooth. So I'm just going to use this cutting compound, this Josco cutting compound. I'm going to sort of just rub it into this cloth wheel, and we'll see how that goes. So I ran them with the cutting compound, and I think it sort of just made it look dull. All the little pits have been filled full of like a black kind of mess, and they don't look as nice as they did before. They are smoother, so any type of like slight rough edge has been smoothed down by the cutting compound, but it's not really come up any cleaner. I might put some grease and wax remover on them. So I think this will be just as far as I'll go with these. They're not perfect, but I don't think they need to look sort of perfect. I like that pitted look. All the rust is gone. There's a few little dark areas, but that doesn't bother me. They're nice and smooth and shiny. I gave them a little oil up with 3-in-1, and I think that'll go good. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you next time.